Hi, this is Ajay Anand and welcome to science classes from excelup.com. In this lesson, you will learn about tissue. This chapter has been taken from Science of class 9th. What is a tissue? A group of cells which carries a specific task is called tissue. In fact, formation of tissue ensures efficiency and specialization, and this is the first step towards division of labor. What happens in case of unicellular organisms? A single cell is responsible for all the biological functions, but in complex organisms this is not possible for a cell to carry out each and every function. So there is a need of specialization so that more efficiency can be achieved. So for example, take the case of human body. There are different organs for different functions. For digestive system is responsible for digestion of food, respiratory system is responsible for respiration, and so on. So tissues, they are responsible for different functions. For example, blood is responsible for transportation of food, gases, medicines, excretory substances, etc. Then muscle tissue, they are responsible for facilitating movement in various organs. Okay, so that is why formation of tissue is necessary or is a desired step towards achieving complexity in organisms. So let us begin with plant tissues. Plant tissues, they are of two types. One is called meristematic tissue and another is called permanent tissue. The cells of meristematic tissues, they have the ability to undergo cell division repeatedly. Okay, but in case of permanent tissue, the cells lose their ability to divide. That is the key difference. Meristematic tissues, they are found in those areas where growth is required or where growth is happening. So based on the location, meristematic tissue is divided into three types, that is apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. Apical has come from apex, means tip. So apical meristem is found at root apex or root tip, shoot tip, leaf bud, flower bud, etc. The cells of meristematic tissue, they have dense cytoplasm and there are no vacuoles because they don't need to store liquids or solids, and that is why there is no need of vacuole. Okay, and these cells, they are densely packed inside the tissue, and once you will see through microscope, you can find cells in different stages of development also, or cells of different sizes. Okay, so this is the apical meristem. Then comes the lateral meristem. Lateral meristem is found at the side of stem, or if you take the transverse section, this shows that lateral meristem is found at the circumference of the stem. The role of apical meristem is primary growth, that is growth in length, but role of lateral meristem is secondary growth, that is growth in girth. So once a stem reaches a certain length, its primary growth more or less stops, and after that it starts secondary growth, and that is how a thin branch it grows on to become a huge trunk with a big diameter. The intercalary meristem is found between nodes and at the base of leaf. Okay, so nodes are, let us say there is a branch, say for example there is a bamboo, so you can find two ring like structure at certain gaps. These are called nodes. Okay, so the role of intercalary meristem is to give growth to new leaves or some lengthening of nodes, or give growth to leaf buds or axillary buds. So this is all about the meristematic tissue. When it comes to permanent tissue, there are two types of permanent tissue. One is called simple tissue and another is called complex tissue. In case of simple tissue, all the cells, they are of similar types, and in case of complex tissue, there can be different types of cells. Simple tissues, they are of three types, and they are parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Complex tissues are of two types. One is called xylem and another is called phloem. Let us now move on to permanent tissue. So what happens once the cells of meristematic tissue, they divide for many rounds, they become specialized for carrying out a particular function, and this specialization is called differentiation. Once a tissue attains differentiation, it loses its capability to divide. It loses its capability to undergo cell division, and the cell division stops after that. And that is when the meristematic tissue, it changes into permanent tissue. So as I have said earlier, in case of simple tissue, all the cells, they are of similar types. Okay, and let us begin with the three types of simple permanent tissue. The number one is parenchyma. In case of parenchyma, the cells, they have thin wall, they are loosely packed, and there can be lot of intercellular spacage between the cells. The parenchyma, it makes the bulk of a plant part. So for example, if you take a fruit, almost 80% or maybe 90% of portion of fruit will be composed of parenchyma. In case of leaf or even a stem, major portion is composed of parenchyma. Apart from providing the structural bulk, parenchyma is also responsible for storage of food. Now there are two special types of parenchyma. One is called chlorenchyma and another is called aerenchyma. In case of leaves, for example, or any other green part of a plant, the cells in parenchyma, they have chlorophyll, and that is why they are green in color and they can carry photosynthesis. So once chlorophyll is present in parenchyma, this is called chlorenchyma. In aquatic plants, there are air spacage between cells in parenchyma, and these air spacage, they provide buoyancy or ability to float. Say for example, in aquatic plants like lily, lotus or water hyacinth, the leaves, they have air spacage in their parenchyma, and because of which the leaves, they float on water. Okay, now collenchyma. In case of collenchyma, there is little intercellular space. Cell wall is thickened at corners due to deposition of a substance called pectin. The collenchyma, it provides rigidity with flexibility. So for example, it is present in leaf stalk. The leaf stalk, it needs to sway along with the wind, it needs to bend, but it needs to maintain its rigidity. It doesn't, it cannot afford to break, and that is why it needs to be rigid along with flexible. Then comes sclerenchyma. Cell walls in a sclerenchyma, they are highly thick because of deposition of a substance called lignin. and all the cells in sclerenchyma, they are dead cells. Sclerenchyma provides structural rigidity to a plant structure. So bark, hard covering of fruits and nuts, etc., they are made of sclerenchyma. The husk of coconut is made of sclerenchyma. The outer covering of a peanut is made of sclerenchyma. This diagram, it shows transverse section of stem. So this is the whole circle or the whole girth of the stem as shown is transverse section, and this is a part of this whole girth. Okay, so different layers of tissues are shown in this diagram. The outermost layer is called epidermis, and after that comes collenchyma. Okay, then comes parenchyma. So you can see the major portion of stem is composed of parenchyma. These are vascular bundle. This is the enlarged figure of vascular bundle. So this is phloem, this is xylem, and xylem and phloem, they constitute the vascular bundle. Okay, now there is a special tissue in plant parts which have pores, and these pores, they are called stomata. Stomata is plural form and the singular form is stoma. A stoma is surrounded by two cells. These are the cells, and these cells are called guard cells. So guard cells, they regulate the opening and closing of the stomata, and by doing so they facilitate exchange of gases like carbon dioxide, oxygen, water vapor. In fact, most of the transpiration takes place through stomata. Transpiration is loss of water vapor through minute pores in plants, and it mainly takes place from stomata. So what happens, for example, these are the guard cells. When water enters the guard cells, they swell up, and once they swell up, the stoma, it opens. If water exits the guard cell, then these cells become flaccid and stoma closes down, and that is how the opening and closing of stomata works. So this is all about the simple permanent tissue. Let us move on to complex permanent tissue. So as I have said earlier, cells of complex permanent tissue, they are of various types. So this is a longitudinal section of vascular bundle. This is the cambium ring. So you don't need to remember the detail of cambium ring. You will read about it in your higher classes. This is xylem and this is phloem. So this is the vessel of xylem and this is the vessel of phloem. This is called sieve tube, and these are sieve plates. This is xylem. The major difference is in the design of perforation. In case of xylem, say for example, this is the plate in the xylem vessel. So the perforations, they are somewhat longitudinal, and that is how you can easily remember them. In case of phloem, this is the sieve plate and the perforation are circular in shape or round in shape. That is the key difference. Xylem is composed of tracheids, vessels, xylem fibers and xylem parenchyma. Out of them, only xylem parenchyma has living cell, and this is responsible for food storage. The rest of the cells, they are dead cells. Xylem fibers, they provide structural support, and tracheids and vessels, they are the channels through which water and minerals, they are transported. Phloem is composed of sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem fiber and phloem parenchyma. Okay. Now the key difference between xylem and phloem is that water and mineral, they are transported through xylem, and food is transported through phloem. Another difference is that the movement of materials through xylem is unidirectional, that is in one direction only, from root to stem upward. In case of phloem, the movement is bidirectional, so it is from source to sink. So this can be this way, this can be this way also. It depends which organ is the source. So for example, just after photosynthesis, the leaf is the source, so it needs to send food to different organs like fruits or maybe roots or a stem for storage. Now after the autumn or whenever new leaves have to be made, what happens? The storage organs other than leaves, they work like source and the leaf becomes the sink. So the movement is reversed from storage organs to new leaf buds, so that more nutrients can be provided for growth of new leaves. Okay, so let us recapitulate. I talked about definition of tissue, then I talked about different types of plant tissues like meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Then I talked about types of permanent tissue like parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, and I talked about xylem and phloem. That's all for this lesson. Thank you.